Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for everything Liverpool. Today we've got huge transfer drama. Chiesa turns heads, Guhei's move collapses with Hodgson firing shots, Salah's future sparks talk of a ready-made replacement, and even Alexander Isak reacts to the Reds' latest striker swoop. Stay tuned because this one's going to be explosive. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Federico Chiesa. Decision has exposed Liverpool transfer problem that cannot be ignored. The omission of Federico Chiesa from Liverpool's Champions League squad has highlighted an issue that will need to be addressed in terms of fan adulation compared to minutes played. Nobody in the Liverpool squad delivers quite as effectively as Federico Chiesa. Small wonder, then, the outraged reaction from some supporters to the Italian being omitted from the Reds' Champions League squad by Arne Slot for the opening league stage. Chiesa was deemed the odd man out as Liverpool were compelled to cut one recognizable name from their list for the first half of the forthcoming European campaign, which starts at home to Atletico Madrid on Wednesday week. The reason? UEFA's registration rules. Each team can name a maximum of 25 players in their main List A squad, which includes a minimum of 8 places reserved exclusively for what UEFA deems as locally trained or homegrown players. Players trained by their club or another club in the same national association for at least 3 years between the ages of 15 and 21. That leaves 17 places to non-homegrown players, and with Liverpool having 18 such members of their squad, it was impossible to include everyone. Chiesa would undoubtedly want to be recognized at Liverpool for more than just a catchy chant. But with less than 500 minutes of action under his belt since arriving at the club more than 12 months ago, the 27-year-old was deemed surplus to requirements. Ultimately, it came down to a decision of which 2 of Rio Ngumoha, Wataru Endo, and Chiesa would be included. Endo's versatility meant he was always likely to be selected. Ngumoha, meanwhile, was unable to be included on List B, which is an unlimited number of under-21 players which can be updated ahead of every Champions League game, because he hasn't yet been with Liverpool for the minimum period of 2 years, and evidently Slot decided the precocious 17-year-old would serve the squad better in the Champions League, with the call also providing the youngster further first-team exposure at an elite level. Ngumoha is in as much for the future as the present. Matters may have been different had Marc Guehi's $35 million move from Crystal Palace not collapsed with a deal within touching distance. Guhei would have provided another center-back option and opened up the possibility of 18-year-old Giovanni Leone being left out, which in turn would have allowed for Chiesa to be preferred. It also underlines a noticeable shift in Liverpool's squad with their homegrown quota having been weakened significantly this summer. Roy Hodgson slams Liverpool and Crystal Palace after Marc Guehi transfer failure. He's the loser. Former Liverpool and Crystal Palace boss Roy Hodgson speaks on Marc Guehi's failed move to Anfield on transfer deadline day. Former Liverpool and Crystal Palace boss Roy Hodgson says he has sympathy for Marc Guehi and believes the England international's failed transfer to Anfield should have been resolved much sooner than deadline day. Guhei was on the cusp of a deadline day move to the Premier League champions after undertaking a medical in London, but was forced to remain at Selhurst Park after a dramatic turn of events. Palace had earmarked Brighton's Julio Igor as Guehi's successor, but the loan move of the centre-back fell through when West Ham United made a late approach, and Eagles boss Oliver Glasner threatened to leave the club if the skipper was sold without a replacement on board on Monday. That meant Palace chairman Steve Parish was forced to curtail the impending $35 million deal, and Guehi's dream move was dashed, with subsequent reports emerging from South London that the Three Lions international is unhappy with how the events unfolded. Hodgson, who endured a miserable 6-month spell at Anfield 15 years ago, was Palace boss on 2 separate occasions between 2017 and 2024, and he says he feels sorry for Guhei, whose hopes of moving to the champions were denied through no fault of his own on Monday evening. I worked with him for a year and a half, Hodgson told TalkSport. I found him an outstanding individual, not just an outstanding footballer. That's been shown quite clearly during this long, drawn-out saga. He's the person I feel really sorry for because if right at the beginning it had been made clear his task ahead would be to stay at Crystal Palace and there'd be no question he'd be leaving in the transfer window, then I'm sure he would have got his head around that. But having been led to believe sooner or later a deal would be done between the clubs, I guess that his head for the last period of time has been that he was going to move. He's the loser in the situation. Palace should be the winner because he's such a good player, and to have a player, captain, and leader of that caliber should be advantageous. But it remains to be seen how upset he may have been by what's happened during these past few hours. I think the transfer situation could have been sorted out much quicker between both clubs. Liverpool may return for Guhei in January at a further reduced price, but with the 25-year-old a free agent at the end of the season, a move next year is likely to appeal for Arne Slot and sporting director Richard Hughes. Hodgson, though, has not ruled out a new deal at Selhurst Park for Guhei, adding, "Anything is possible. We did that contract renewal for years with Wilfried Zaha. But of course, the problem with that, and Steve tells me privately, he regretted that his wages put him on such a pedestal at the club, partly because it meant the wage bill of the club went up enormously. Liverpool has already identified perfect Mohamed Salah replacement for next summer. Mohamed Salah signed a contract to keep him at Liverpool until 2027, but the Reds are already putting plans in place to sign the Egyptian's long-term successor. Liverpool has made signing a long-term replacement for Mohamed Salah a top priority over the next couple of years, with Michael Olise apparently a possible target. Salah signed a new contract with Liverpool toward the end of last season, committing his future to the Anfield club until 2027 and putting a stop to speculation, temporarily at least, that a move to Saudi Arabia could be on the cards. Salah turned 33 in June and will be 35 when his contract expires, and although he shows no sign of slowing down anytime soon, Liverpool will eventually need to find a successor for one of the club's greatest ever players. New signing, Jeremy Frimpong, who lined up at right back in Liverpool's opening game of the campaign, can play further forward, but it is clearly too early to say whether he has what it takes to fill Salah's boots in the years ahead. Former Crystal Palace star Olise has emerged as one of the best right-wingers in the world in recent years and has shown since moving to Bayern Munich last year, but Liverpool could be plotting to bring him back to the Premier League before long, according to the Daily Mail. Of course, he would not come cheap, but Liverpool is not afraid of splashing the cash on the right player, as this summer's business has shown. One player who won't be filling Salah's boots, unless the Reds exercise a buyback option, is Harvey Elliott, who sealed a deadline day move to Aston Villa on Monday. Elliott was one of several outgoing players who Liverpool negotiated. A significant fee for during the summer window, with the 22-year-old joining Villa on an initial loan deal, but with an obligation for the Villains to make the deal permanent for $35 million, $47 million next summer. At Liverpool, Elliott was faced with the unenviable task of going up against Salah for a spot in the team. A few days after Elliott's move to Villa was finalized, Salah sent a message to the youngster on social media, tipping him to show his quality for his new club. "You'll be remembered for your loyalty and dedication every time you were called upon," Salah wrote on social media. "You leave as a champion, and I've got no doubt you'll do big things at your new club. They are lucky to have you." Roy Hodgson blames both Crystal Palace and Liverpool over Marc Guehi. Transfer collapse. Crystal Palace captain Marc Guehi looked set to leave the club for Liverpool on transfer deadline day, only for the big money move to collapse at the 11th. Our Marc Guehi will remain at Crystal Palace, at least until the new year, and former Palace boss Roy Hodgson believes both the Eagles and Liverpool need to shoulder the blame. Guhei looks set for an Anfield move on deadline day, even filming a farewell message, only for the Eagles to pull the plug on the move. As a result, Palace will likely miss out on a fee for the center-back, who was likely to fetch around $35 million despite being in the final year of his contract. Liverpool, meanwhile, will have to make do without an experienced England international at the back. "He's Guhei, the person I feel really sorry for," Hodgson told TalkSport, because if right at the beginning it had been made clear his task ahead would be to stay at Crystal Palace and there'd be no question he'd be leaving in the transfer window, then I'm sure he would have got his head around that. But having been led to believe sooner or later a deal would be done between the clubs, I guess that his head for the last period of time has been, he was going to move. He's the loser in the situation. Palace should be the winner because he's such a good player, and to have a player, captain and leader of that caliber should be advantageous. But it remains to be seen how upset he may have been by what's happened during these past few hours. It was still a very busy summer for Liverpool, even without the Guhei deal materializing. They spent more than 400 million on new signings, including 9-figure deals for Isak and Florian Wirtz, while Hugo Ekitike joined for 79 million from Eintracht Frankfurt. Arne Slot's Reds also brought in close to 200 million through player sales. These included big money exits for Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, while Real Madrid paid more than $8 million to release Trent Alexander-Arnold from his contract a few weeks early. Guhei scored for Palace in their last league game before deadline day, helping Oliver Glasner's side win 3-0 away to Aston Villa. After that win, Glasner, who is reported to have threatened to quit if Guhei was sold, stressed the importance of the skipper. "I told this to the chairman. We have to keep Marc if we want to play a successful season," Glasner told Match of the Day. "We have no chance to find the right replacement in one day. We all agreed that we just sell Marc if we have the right replacement in the building. We wanted a replacement by the 1st July. We have this agreement, so it is clear from me. He is such a crucial player. He is one of our key players. He is our captain. Again, if we want to play a successful season, we have to keep him." Ex-Liverpool star whose son plays for Reds reveals what Rio Ngumoha's emergence truly means. Rio Ngumoha has become one to watch in the Premier League thanks to his late strike against Newcastle, and his rapid rise has given those in the academy hope that they can also make it. Ex-Liverpool forward Djibril Cissé has expressed optimism for his son's future at the club, inspired by the rise of young star Rio Ngumoha. The then 16-year-old grabbed the headlines with a dramatic late goal against Newcastle United in August, securing a crucial 3-2 win for the Reds. Now 17, Ngumoha has been named in Liverpool's Champions League squad, making the cut ahead of Federico Chiesa as he continues his impressive ascent. Even Mohamed Salah has offered him words of wisdom, a testament to the impact the youngster has already had. Sissy, who enjoyed a successful stint at Anfield from 2004-2007, winning both the Champions League and FA Cup, has a personal stake in the club's youth development. His son, Prince Kobe, 16, has been part of Liverpool's academy for several years and signed his first professional contract with the club in July 2024. Prince Kobe made his debut for the U18s last season at just 15 years and 7 months old. Speaking to Ladbrokes, Sissa 44 said Ngumoha's breakthrough is a positive sign for those in Liverpool's academy. To be honest, Rio Ngumoha's emergence is a sign of the new football. If you're good, even if you're young, you're going to have a chance, Sissy said. "You know, nowadays, even at a club like Liverpool, it's not about how old you are, it's about how good you are. That's the kind of football I like. It's good for me because my son, Prince Kobe, is currently playing for the club, so I'm happy that the manager trusts young players." Ngumoha's rapid rise has supporters and everyone associated with the club excited that the former Chelsea Academy prospect could flourish into something special at Anfield. Yet club legend John Barnes has urged those anticipating more spectacular displays from the teenager to allow Ngumoha's development to progress naturally, cautioning against excessive pressure too early. "Let him grow slowly," Barnes said. "We remember ex-Arsenal and England winger Theo Walcott. He was the same at 16. Let's not put too much expectation on him, and Liverpool will handle him well. He's not going to be a starter for Liverpool anytime soon. But to involve him in the squad, keep his feet on the ground, let him grow slowly, he's at the right club for that because Liverpool know how to handle their youngsters." Ngumoha's dramatic intervention against the Magpies arrived after the Reds had surrendered a 2-goal advantage, with goals from Ryan Gravenberch and Hugo Ekitike appearing to have secured victory for Slot's team. Nevertheless, Sissy believes that the Reds' stubborn determination in ultimately claiming all 3 points demonstrated the characteristics of title winners. Alexander Isak's instant reaction to Liverpool's signing. Hugo Ekitike before him. Emerges. The Swedish striker had a telling response when he heard Liverpool were signing Ekitike. Alexander Isak's immediate reaction to Liverpool signing Hugo Ekitike before him has emerged. Ahead of the summer transfer window, there was widespread speculation that the Premier League champions would seek to reinforce with a new striker. Liverpool's initial approach to Newcastle United for Alexander Isak was rebuffed, which prompted them to turn their focus to Ekitike. In July, they completed a deal for the Frenchman worth an initial 69 million, sparking debate over whether that meant the end of their pursuit for Isak. Earlier that month, the Swedish forward had traveled with his Newcastle teammates for a training camp in Austria. But according to The Athletic, once Ekitike's move to Liverpool was confirmed, Isak's mood changed. He was ruled out of Newcastle's friendly with Celtic with what the club described as a minor injury, and he then refused to join the squad on their pre-season tour, while the club continued to report that he was struggling with a minor thigh injury. The saga finally came to a close on deadline day, as Liverpool broke the British transfer record for the second time this summer. Isak joined for 125, a fee which Newcastle claimed could rise to 130 million with potential add-ons. He has signed a 6-year contract at Anfield and taken the iconic number 9 shirt. How will Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike work? After Ekitike's superb start to life in England, many fans are wondering how Arne Slot will accommodate both of his new forwards. The Frenchman scored just 4 minutes into the Community Shield and followed that up with goals against both AFC Bournemouth and Newcastle. The 23-year-old's impressive form has seen him nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month award for August, alongside his teammate Dominik Szoboszlai. Despite Ekitike's impressive start, Isak is expected to lead the line once he is fully fit. The Swede bagged 23 league goals last season, second only to Mo Salah, who had another outstanding campaign. Although the Egyptian winger has made a slow start to the season, he has been integral to Liverpool for years and is unlikely to be dropped. Cody Gakpo has started the season well, but he is the most likely to make way if Arne Slot wants to start both Isak and Ekitike. Although there are selection dilemmas for the Dutch manager, he is in a strong position for a long campaign. Last season, they played 56 competitive matches. So if Liverpool have a deeper run into the FA Cup and Champions League, they may surpass the 60-game mark.